Hi, hello. I am coming to you live from my creek isolation, sitting up there, and I am naked. I thought I would just hang out in full isolation, naked vibes, because why not? And it's going great, except for there are mosquitoes, so I'm in my protective mosquito-proof gear. It's really great, and I just thought I would share with you some of my realizations throughout this interesting time of quarantine that some of us, maybe all of us, are experiencing, where we're supposed to isolate ourselves from each other and have social distance, and how interesting it is when we are mandated to stay away. And it's been really interesting to reflect on what we choose to do versus what we're told, what we're supposed to do. Things that I've been thinking about is, how beautiful this is for the environment, how we're supposed to separate and slow down and buy local. We don't have access to what we usually have access to, and how that's forcing us to simplify, and how whilst this is a tragic pandemic, this is something that's impacting the entire planet and spreading fear faster than it's spreading the actual virus. And everyone's infected, whether it's fear of losing their abundance, losing their work, losing their ability to pay their rent, or for fear of the disease if they're at risk or elderly. So there's so much fear, there's so much and with fear, with this comes this feeling of scarcity, which is the exact opposite of what we ever want to feel. Oh, there's a bug on the camera. Really in nature here. Isolation from humans, but not isolated from nature. So I think I really urge us all to take the time to go out into nature, if we can, if we have access to that, if we're able to leave the house, to go sit in nature and reconnect and listen to this creek, listen to the water, listen to the sounds of nature, listen to the wind in the trees, listen to the birds, taking time for ourselves, sitting quietly, meditating, taking deep breaths, breathing. It's spirituality that is going to get us through these times. It's having a spiritual practice. It's having a self-love and a self-care practice where we invest in ourselves, in this being, in this body, this one body that we have for this one life. And this life is on this planet, on this globe that's ever changing, now more than ever. The climate's changing, the humans changing, our health is changing, what we're able to do, the laws are changing, where we can travel is changing. It's happening quick. It's happening before we expected, and that's because we weren't slowing down. We weren't listening to the warning signs. And now here we are in this interesting place of being forced to stop, of being forced to slow down, of being forced to change, and this discomfort that comes with, forced change is so interesting. And I'm secretly, but now not so secretly, loving it, because it's this is the discomfort. This is that dis-ease or unease that comes before great change. And so many of us don't want that discomfort. So many of us don't want that unease or change in our convenience or change in our comforts. And now it's being forced upon us. So I hope that we all take advantage of this this pause, this mandatory pause, where we each have to just fully stop and slow down and change how we shop and change how we eat and change where we buy and change what we do. And this is such a blessing in disguise. And yes, there is so much risk for disease, and yes, there is so much scary information that's being spread, and the laws and the restrictions and the actual threat to human health. Yes, it is scary. So feel into that, but allow space for those emotions. We really have to honor and hold space for ourselves, and hold space for the grief that we're experiencing and the anxiety that we're experiencing. That's all really valid emotions. They're healthy emotions, and we need to listen to those. And if those emotions are telling you to stay home, do it. This is when we tune into our intuition, and we really have to develop a relationship with the intuition and that inner voice, that instinct that's like, no, don't go out into public spaces, even if you had this really cool thing planned, or even if you really need something. Look at what you have. Look at what you already have. This is our time to be resourceful. This is our time to make the changes that maybe we thought we were supposed to make. I'm wearing my protective mosquito gear, but they can still get my face. It's fine. Nature, ecology, it's great. Biodiversity, yes, bugs, come! So this is the time where we are a little bit uncomfortable and we can shift how we do things. We can shift how we buy food. Maybe us buying in bulk is how we should be buying all along. Instead of going to bulk food stores and buying little packages, maybe we should be ordering large canisters and large paper bags of flour and rice and beans and spices and these things, and we store them at our home, and then we stock up our glass jars in our pantry from our stock. And if we can't afford to do that up front, is there a community? Are there other people that want to go in on this with us? Who is our community? Who are other people? Are there other parents and families or neighbors or single people or people that we can band together and combine these resources with? This is what this pandemic is teaching us, that we are isolated and alone, but we are still a part of a community, and we have to look after each other. We can't go to the store and hoard everything. We can't go buy everything. We have to leave some. We can only take what we need. And that's how nature is. We should only take what we need. And we should give back as much as we receive. This is a time for self-preservation, for self-love, for self-care, but also for generosity. This is a time when we should say yes and help each other out and offer more than what we have. Not because we're going to clear ourselves out, but because giving is receiving. That when we give, we receive so much more. And this is what happens in the animal kingdom. Birds don't necessarily share what they get when they go out and collect worms. They don't share that because they are generous by nature, good by nature. They share because if someone else, if at another point they are unable to go collect food, the other people they share with them as well. This happens all over the animal kingdom. So it's time for us to start learning from nature, reconnecting to nature, and being a part of nature, doing as nature does. Ecology, looking after each other. We're all a part of this. I am sitting here amongst trees and streams and bugs and flowers and weeds and dirt, and I'm a part of it. I'm sitting here, I'm spitting on the ground and swimming in the creek and peeing on the dirt, and I'm leaving my bacteria, my microbiome is being affected by what's around me. And this is how it should be. We should be more integrated with nature. We should be eating the food that we grow. And if we cannot grow food because we live in an urban environment, we should be supporting the local growers, not the food that's being imported from across the planet. No, that's contributing to the emissions. That's contributing to the climate warming. You know, this is our chance. This is this little pause where we might be a little uncomfortable and we're going to have to change a few things on how we do them. Let's change them for good. This is our opportunity to redesign the systems that are not working for us. This is our opportunity to create, to manifest and visualize and try to understand how we want to live in this world. What is the world? This beautiful world that our hearts know is possible, this thriving world that we want to be a part of. This is our chance to create that and to create the systems in our personal lives and our individual lives to contribute to a better world. So if you can order food, yeah, Sal, I miss you too. I'm here. This is my office right now. I'm just naked in nature, covered up with my mosquito protection outfit. And I think that, you know, the realizations that we're having in this time are really valid, and we should really take the time to reflect and tune in to what's really important to us. You know, that's what these crises really come down to, is what do we value? What is important? What matters to me? Is it my family? Is it healthy food? Is it shelter? Is it time to breathe and think and reassess and re-strategize? If the business isn't working, if it's not, you know, sales aren't coming, what can I do differently? Or what does my community need? Is it actually healthy for me to take a pause from the things I was doing and reassess and feel in and tap into my community? You know, how can I be a part of this? How can I be a part of this world? We have cloth and clay. We have so much creativity. We are a mosquito. Yes, mosquitoes are with us. You know, we are able to create anything. We're human beings. We are killing it. We're actually killing the planet. So what can we do? How can we be creative? How can we be a creative, positive force during this time of panic, when so many people are freaking out and spreading misinformation and spreading conspiracy theories, which are so interesting and fascinating, and read all of them because it's really interesting to think about where this has come from, and to better understand the science and to just connect with ourselves, take a pause from this rat race that we're conditioned and told and programmed to connect into, and yet is it really serving us? Is this really what we need? Is this really the healthy way forward to is working 1,000,000 hours a week or 10 hours a day, is this building the life that we want, or are we working towards a future that isn't secure, isn't necessarily coming? Is this right now? Is last year's climate change awakening? Is this year's pandemic? Is this showing us that nothing is certain? That this race that we've been programmed and sold, marketed and sold, is this really what we want for this one wild, beautiful life? Yeah, I don't know. I think that there's different ways to do it, and I think that if we have the resources to be a part of creating that change, this is our chance. This is our time. This is the pause that we can take, and we can slow down and recreate our society and rebuild our society and redesign the systems that I, for one, have been trying to push for. And not like I'm like shouting out myself. I just think that there are a lot of people that have been pushing for regenerative agriculture and renewable energy and circular economy. And there are so many different systems that we can embrace now that we have this little pause and everyone's kind of like, well, okay, it's not working, what we are doing. So what can we do instead? So this is our chance to recreate. So be creative, be resourceful, take action, just take initiative. This is our time. We're all like, why aren't people catching on to buy bulk or to go reusable or, grow their own food or support local? This is the time. Here we go. Create these systems, launch it, make it all happen, make it accessible for people. This is the time. So if you have any ideas, I totally support you. I think that now more than ever, put energy into those systems that are important for the planet. I think that it's a scary time to launch things, but I think why not? You can always relaunch later if it doesn't stick. Okay, I'm gonna go get in the creek because the mosquitoes are telling me that it's time. Yes, cloth and clay. Let's value what we have, build community industries using solar and clean energy. This is it. We got this. It's time. So time to create those systems we need and launch and support the systems and support each other and support community. You got this. All right. Enjoy self-isolation. And